Today, we're going to be talking about a really important subject. And sadly, that is fashion that kills. Now, I love my clothes, but after this episode, I'm definitely doing a fashion rehab. I sat down with Jeff Garner, who is not only an amazing fashion designer, but also the creator of an incredible documentary, Let Them Be Naked. Jeff was just on his way to launch it at London Fashion Week, and he sat down and told me all about the things that we really needed to be very, very careful about in our wardrobes. And he gives us lots of tips in this amazing episode about how to detox our wardrobe even straight away today. So share this. I never imagined that my passion for fashion could actually be quite dangerous. But Jeff pointed out the fact that he had witnessed members of his family having very adverse reactions to some of the toxic things that we find in clothes. So join us, let's learn together, and let's rehab our wardrobes. My name is Zoe Scott, and this is my podcast, Confessions at the Cabana. I was born in England, and I chased my dreams across the ocean, landing in America, and then driving all the way to California to live my rock and roll life. I've journeyed from living in the wild to lighting up the stages all around Los Angeles, and I've got plenty of stories to share. But this podcast isn't about me. It's about creating space for others to share their stories, stories that inspire, stories that bring us together, and stories that heal. So come join us here in Malibu at the Cabana. I want to say a really warm welcome to Jeff Garner. I am so moved by your journey. Your journey in fashion, your clothes are so utterly beautiful. I mean, so romantic and moving, but also this incredible kind of David and Goliath story where you're kind of taking on the whole of the fashion industry and trying to educate people about the immense amount of toxic stuff that is going into clothes. What can I say? It's such a big journey. How did this all begin?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. I think I was just born with this purpose in a weird way. So I grew up on a farm in Tennessee, and I learned very quickly, being in tune with nature, what we do affects nature. So when I started dressing all my buddies in bands out of Nashville.
Brilliant.
And so when I got into that and started actually making production for them, I learned very quickly how dirty fashion industry was. So I was like, all right, I got to figure this out. Either I stop doing what I love or figure out a different solution. That led me down this rabbit hole of, natural fibers, plant-based dyes, and then I was learning about the toxicity and what they were using because it's, cheap ingredients, works fast, works good. And that's what we're up against. So, and then when you trace it back and go back in history, which I'm a big history buff, you learn that these, I got a caveat to this. My grandfather was a scientist and chemist. He was the first chemist at Oppenheimer, hired for the Manhattan Project. Gridge, Tennessee, they built the fuel for the bomb. And then obviously everyone knows the film. So they made the bomb in New Mexico. So what I did was use that kind of brain I was getting from,
From
granddad, who taught me analytical and creative thinking, because I just sit in his lab and just he is kind of like his little helper. So, I learned the chemistry of these makeups, like, for example, plastisol ink for printing band T-shirts. I was like, oh, wow, that off gases. And so it's basically it's a plastic, right? So it's going to have.
That's the logos and stuff on the shirt.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's going to have like stuff people don't know about, but like phenol in it, formaldehyde and carcinogens, right? So you got to understand the body chemistry is, we have bioaccumulation levels. So like your glass of water, once it tips over, it's going to create disease and cancer, right? So the idea is to keep your bioaccumulation levels down. So I was like, okay, well, this is one element that we're not thinking about or talking about. We're talking about food, talking about environmental stuff, like what's in the air, like Windex and stuff like that. But we're not talking about what we're putting on our bodies because we were designed to be nude and naked. And everyone laughs at my title of the film.
Yeah, I thought I should come here naked today for do this naked. I have to say, like, I mean, I think you're spearheading like a revolution. I really haven't thought that much about the toxicity of my wardrobe. And I love fashion. I love clothes. It's my passion. If you ask my guy, he's like, no more clothes. And
Sure.
but I did have a little bit of a panic attack when I realized your doc's not out yet. It's out. When is it? The 7th?
17th of September. Yeah, we're
Yeah.
we're launching it in the UK. And then we'll see where it journeys from there. But yeah, so
Well, I can't wait to watch it, but I probably like many women, I had a bit of a panic attack when I realized, maybe some of my favorite pieces are like toxic. So you're on to quite because we're all addicted to fashion, let's be honest.
sure.
And getting healthy about that is going to take quite a lot of education, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's twofold, right? It's not just awareness and education, but it's also, like you said, it's like, we're addicted to convenience, we're addicted to cheap price points of fast fashion, and we're addicted to how something looks and makes us feel. And I've been dressing, women for 25 years. I've dressed over 6,000 bodies per se. So I understand this more than most.
Yes.
And there's constraints in that because I've always designed using, the ethos I stand by and live by. And I wear it myself every day. I'm wearing a shirt here that I dyed using indigo American.
It's beautiful. The colors are so beautiful. And I have to say, like looking at your collections and seeing you hand dyeing, there's something so poetic, so beautiful about it. So
It's a different art form, and people argue like you can't, commercialize that. And I disagree. I've proven you can. And that was my whole purpose with my collection, Prophetik, is showing at fashion weeks and, getting on the red carpets, et cetera, was just to show, hey, you can do it differently.
because the idea is that if it's not mass producible, it's not going to work from a business perspective.
Correct. So you can understand, and I love being a rebel spirit because I've had so many businessmen talk down to me and so many,
Oh, haven't we all?
commercial, yeah.
I'm a raucous.
I like, buddy, you're bald. There's a reason you're bald because you're getting these toxins into your bloodstream. And, I don't like, for example, trucker caps and nylon. When the sun UV rays hit that, kills the hair follicles. But, stuff like that. I'm like, let's don't confuse, there's wisdom and there's knowledge, right? And we need to like learn that you can do things differently and not continue in the same patterns that don't work. And we've proven we grew basically, so we got a lot of farmers involved doing an indigo project.
Gosh, how wonderful.
Yeah. And my friend who I started with years ago, I found her and her sister literally in a farmer's market and say, hey,
Wow.
guys, I'm doing plant-based dyes for clothing. And they were playing around with tie-dye. I go, would you want to learn what some of my recipes are and help me broaden this out? So we did all the spectrums of colors. Took
Because
8
indigo
years.
is one of the most toxic. Is it the idea that the indigo that goes in the denim is
Correct. Super toxic. There's only one place in the world that it's made, and that's in China. So yes, the synthetic indigo is one of the worst. And so, but people wear denim thinking it's cotton. And the original denim Levi's was hemp, done naturally with indigo, like a natural indigo. But it's weird assumptions. So people see, oh, this is, this denim dyed with indigo doesn't mean it's a plant dye.
So you're experimenting with non-toxic indigo. Is that the idea?
Correct. So what we
Do you
do,
still have the farm in Tennessee?
I do have Farmington's.
Wonderful.
So we show this in the film, but we show as an example, look, you can grow. We got a bunch of farmers involved to grow the indigo and to prove like you can. They love growing it. It's an easy crop to grow. And then we processed it there, created a powder form of the dye so it could be used in any of the machinery they use currently now dyeing. Because, you got to understand the industry doesn't, they don't want to take any risk. They don't want to change up their systems. It's like anything was trying. It's like, DVDs to digital, right? Everyone fought what needs to come. And so we need to do the dyes 100%.
Do you think it's possible to do this cost effectively?
Yes, I do. I know. But there's always the cart before the horse. We have to get the consumers. That's why this film's so important. We got to get consumers to understand this and to demand it. It's like, why put toxicity on your body every day? It's
I mean, I think people are largely uneducated. I know when I was just looking at the clips, your trailer, I was like, something actually, I don't know if I've even thought about that deeply. That might sound terrible, Jeff.
yeah.
But
No, it's that, and then you get, obviously there's big players at stake. I won't kid you. I've had a few death threats and things like that, and
wow.
obviously they have a lot of PR and they have a lot more money, and they're going to drive this narrative that like, oh, that's pseudoscience, all this stuff. That's why I did a book, 290 pages of science and research that just basically puts us all in one place. So there's no room for error. It's like it's all there. Just go do a deep dive.
But so you've laid it all out for us.
I laid it out for those that question it or think it's like, well, why don't I? Because everyone's educated, right? And then we got accessibility to the internet. Everyone's like, why haven't I heard about this? They think it's this brand new thing, and I've been speaking it for 20 something years, and so
You don't look young enough. Old enough. Sorry, you don't look old enough to be speaking it for 20 years.
but it's little thing. Even my TED Talks got blocked.
Really? So it got. You know what I got this morning when I was thinking about you? I was like, this is a real man of a cause. I know this is going to sound very strange, but I got this sense of you standing on the battlefields in Tennessee, in the 1900s. And I really, really think it's so courageous that you're standing up for this. And I was like, okay, let's ride. Come on,
Yeah.
let's go. Let's get it out there. Let's learn about this. And with your beautiful horses that you
Yeah.
you take to your fashion shows.
Yeah, there's something I'm a horse guy. I've always been raised on horses. I train horses. So I think there's something, you talk to any horse person, they have this like grit about them. It's like, if you don't do it, nobody's going to do it.
I really get that. I think that's so deep, and we should all say thank you for doing that, because obviously it is quite a lot to take on a whole industry and say, hey, let's clean this up a bit. And I'm so sorry that you had death threats,
Yeah, it's just, well, it's a lot of money at stake. There's and again, I'm not trying to point fingers or, I'm not going after the industry per se. I'm just trying to say, hey guys, we need to do something. There needs to be some integrity, there's some ethical issues here because it's a public health issue and people need to know. That's what I'm fighting for. I'm fighting for people to know, fighting for labeling systems. It's kind of like if you compare it to anything that we know in today's society, it's like thank you for not smoking. I don't know if you saw that film, but it's basically cigarette companies and all that. They pretended like it was healthy or good for you. That doctors, they were paying to smoke. There's a reason why it took 30 years for labeling to go on cigarette boxes. Say, no, it does cause lung cancer. And that's something that we talk about in the film as well and in the book because, there's correlation, right? And there's enough there that we do need labeling systems. We do need, and you see it more in California than anywhere else in the world. But now they have stickers on cars when you go rent them, for example.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. Dresses here, and I was looking at it this morning, and I was thinking, gosh, I wonder if there's actually a label that will tell me what's in it.
Yeah, it's the Prop 65. So it basically says, hey, there's a carcinogenic in this, like they just stick it on the car, for example, let's use the car example, stick it on the window and says, has this warning label. Cool, that's the policy, right? Doesn't tell you what causes it, but if you look in those rental cars, for example, it's the seat covers are polyester, right? One smell of that new smell.
Yeah.
And I always tell everyone about this because you want to crack your windows, especially in a hot climate like California.
Yes.
So off-gassing does go straight in your lungs, and that's why people do get lung cancer that never smoked in their life. It's the same chemical.
Wow.
If you dissect a cigarette, there's about 30 different chemicals laced into it. And, and then you got to understand, like some chemicals are naturally occurring, others are not. These are synthetically made in laboratory, designed for a purpose, designed to get people addicted to it. Regular tobacco is different. Native Americans used to smoke, right? But now you got to understand these chemical companies want placement of their product. So that's why the first pesticide was created, and it was created for a good deed of trying to, because there was a famine in Europe, et cetera. But they didn't process what it does to human health. And that's what I'm fighting for. So what they did, the same German company created the first pesticide, used that same kind of technology, same chemistry makeup, and started making other things too. And that's kind of the birth of this chemical industry. And if you look at the history, I don't want to say too much, but you will discover it in the book and the film. But it leads down this path of, like, for example, the women's stocking used to be made of silk, and now it's made of nylon. Okay, looks the same. It doesn't strip as easily as silk. It's stronger, nylon is stronger than silk. But what is nylon? It's made of caustic soda and all this other kind of chemistry. What is it off gas? Oxide and all this stuff. What does it have in it? Formaldehyde. Like, so you go down this rabbit hole of, like, what is this product versus this natural occurring product? And you see, okay, well, that ingredient list is not good. And what does it do when you put it on your body? See, they never studied that.
So destroying the body, but destroying the earth.
Yeah, I think people understand the earth part because they talk about manufacturing ahead of fashion. And if you look deeper, you see that when the body receives in this chemistry, it takes it in as it's like an alien. It takes it in as an estrogen. It doesn't know what it is. So a body naturally is designed. And, I believe that there is a maker, and I believe in God, and I think that he designed the body amazingly. And I think it receives that, that foreign object and takes that as an estrogen. It stores in the fatty tissue. So if you think about the breast, right? So you wear these nylon polyester bras, and it heats up and it goes straight in your fatty tissues. Well, you have restriction from bras, right? So it keeps, and it's non-breathable, those fabrications. That's why you sweat. So it doesn't allow anything to penetrate. So it basically acts like a greenhouse.
I mean, when you say it like that, you're really bringing it home, because how many of us have worn bras for years and years?
Well, my mom passed of breast cancer, and that's why I'm fighting. That's another reason personally I'm fighting for this, because I know too much. That's why I did this film, because I was like, I don't want to go to my grave without trying. And that's where this kind of charge came from. I'm like, okay, I lost her, I lost my happy dad, I even lost a child to this chemist, these chemicals. So
Sorry.
I'm
Sorry.
all in, and that's why, you don't see me backing down when I get, whenever you do something good, you're gonna have the opposite happen.
But you see it's life and death, and it was your family, it's your mother, so then it becomes a very powerful kind of fight.
And I just see every day I walk around Malibu, wherever I'm at, and I just see everyone wearing this stuff. And it makes me sad, because they don't know. My mom was brilliant. She was valedictorian of her class, mathematician, composer. She inherited her father's genes as well. First, she would have known about this chemistry in the bra. She never would have worn it. She didn't know.
You think she had no sense that what she was wearing could have?
No.
Do you think it did create the cancer, the breast
100%.
cancer? You do?
I do, personally, 100%.
It didn't run in your family, or?
No. No, and that's all. See, that's some of the false narrative that's being driven. And if you study it deeper, it's only 20% comes from hereditary. Right. So again, big business here. Cancer research, all that stuff's big business. And I look at it this way. That'd be like talking about lung cancer, but never studying the cigarette. Think about it. It's on your breast all day, every day. And we know carcinogens are in it. Why is nobody researching this? And I looked high and dry. No published research.
Wow. I mean, I think you're right. It's really swept under the rug, because, some of your talks on TED Talk and all sorts of things, learning about this, it like kind of hit me like a truck. It actually, my first reaction was to have a panic attack about my wardrobe.
Sure.
And then my second reaction was like, okay, let's calm down. This information is coming for a reason. And this information can help me in my life and the women around me. So let's be mature about this. I mean, I think we have this terrible addiction to fast these days.
Sure.
And hit the button and you're going to get something from Amazon. I know, I know I do it.
Yeah.
And so I think we all need to slow it down a bit. I mean, that's one of the beautiful things I get about you, Jeff, that it's not only the fashion, but there's a whole lifestyle that comes through, these beautiful clothes, a slower, a kinder, a more deep connection to your history, your roots, and Tennessee.
Yeah, I'm kind of, I have a different drum beat, and but everything I wear, like I have riding pants I've worn for 12 years. If you really look closely, I don't change my style, and I make things of hemp that last a long time. And I know I love that people love to find new styles and change their wardrobe and all that, but it's also driven by that marketing, consumerism to like want more and want new and to change wardrobe every weekend because of fast fashion, making those those things cheaper. It allows them the possibility. There's always this kind of argument, "Well, Jeff, what you're talking about is more expensive." I'm like, yes, my hem boxer is gonna be $50 compared to a $10, $12. Let's say Calvin Klein now. Nothing against Calvin Klein because he was one of my first mentorships, and mentorship.
Telling you off in.
Yeah, and that was that was one of the CEOs of Calvin Klein,
The former.
and yeah,
Do you, Calvin Klein, have a hemp boxer out?
Calvin does not. And
Yeah.
and I was with Calvin when he sold his company. I remember it was a sad day for him because he don't have control of it anymore as a designer, what they do with it. Obviously, they're going to strip it and make it the cheapest. They're going to, those business guys that run these fashion companies,
Right.
they're all going to strip them down. They don't want artists like me involved because the first thing they're going to do is take away my plant dyes. They're too expensive. And they're going to make a synthetic dye made in a place, that is cheap labor. Yeah, I make everything here. And then they're going to cheapen the fabrication. They're just looking at numbers because they feel that consumers don't care. That's what I'm fighting for. Like, can we make consumers care? Then they'll follow, but they're not going to change because they're all, and I've tried to help. I've gone into some family-owned, fashion companies. I thought maybe they'll listen. And even the CEO of that, who was a friend of mine, and I'm not going to mention the name of the company, but said, Jeff, I would love to do this. And the head designer was French. Got it. Right. So I don't want to put the blame on them, but they couldn't pivot because it was too risky for them because they said the market doesn't want it. So if we start doing it in this style, in this way, and our price point goes up because it naturally will. I'll talk about that in a minute, but they couldn't make sense of it business-wise, and then they felt they would put the company at jeopardy, and they felt a responsibility for all the employees, and I respect that. So I grew up with a father businessman who I saw him one Christmas didn't take any money home because he didn't want to fire anyone.
Wow.
And so I get that. I'm not anti-capitalism.
Yes.
I am a hippie, but I'm like, I think it's great that we provide jobs for people. I'm kind of like this weird bridge, but I think we should do things properly. And so that's why I felt like this film's so important. So we get everyday consumers to understand, like when you buy that cheap item, somebody's being affected negatively.
Where did you travel during your documentary to see these factories, to see the rivers that are polluted, to see what are the conditions like?
There's a lot. And my previous, we did a short doc a while ago. We went to China, to Pearl River. All the denim manufacturing is done at Tang, and that was a really interesting experience because, when you gotta understand, synthetic dyes are petroleum based, right? So when they go into a river stream and and denim has starch in it. So that starch, if anyone knows about starch, it sucks oxygen. So that river is going to go dead with anything living in it because it sucks all the oxygen out. And then the petroleum base is going to be like an oil slick on top. That's why the big environmental movement happened in the 70s. You see that one picture of a boat on fire in the Ohio River.
Wow.
That shocked everyone. How in the world did this happen?
Wow.
And that's because of the petroleum-based dyes they're using. So that's what I felt.
I accidentally got some petroleum on one of my dog's feet one day, and he was freaking out. He was trying to scratch his foot off.
Oh, yeah.
So imagine if that's on our skin, this beautiful, breathable skin that,
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. And even people come out of the dock and they're just, I could see it. They're like this.
their faces, right?
I'm not the best dinner party guest. Sorry, guys.
But that's the first reaction, isn't it? I mean, like, that was my first reaction 2 nights ago after I looked at all the beautiful information about you. I was having a panic attack when I was singing rock.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I used to wear all these creations, and it's very much like the expression of a performer, you know, 'cause that's how you
Yeah.
change the molecules when you walk into a room. And the idea that, you know, maybe I've been wearing things on stage that, you know, with the hot lights,
Yep.
and like you said, the logos and things, the sequins. I could have been like baking alive, right? Oh, how am I?
Let me put a little hope into it.
Sure. Let's get some hope, because I know I said to some girlfriends, I talked to some girlfriends last night in Malibu, and I was like, listen, ladies, this is what we got to think about. And they were like,
Yeah, I know. You lose attention very quickly. Yeah, yeah, and no one wants to be in the wrong. And it's you know, to me, I think it's once you receive it,
Mhm,
there are easy fixes. For example, everyone listening right now could go home tonight,
mhm.
change your detergents. Detergents are the number one.
Right.
When you hear people say, "Oh, the fashion industry is like second polluter," blah blah blah, it's not because of manufacturing, which everyone thinks. It's not because of what we're talking about right now. It's the detergents. Because think about it, we wash our clothes every day. So what that chemistry is in that piece of shirt, your clothing you're wearing, is going to come off the laundry, go out into our water streams, right? Us being in Malibu, I've lived on the beach for most of my life, and I surf directly in front of my house, and I see like, okay, this what my hippie dad just washed. I can see
You
So
can see it in the oceans.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's the and that's why our oceans are warming up.
Mm.
And I've talked to Surf Rider Foundation about this.
Mhm.
Like everyone has their agendas, but like that is the number one. If you look deep, you'll know that detergents. So,
Okay, well, that's great, and that's easy. And what would you change to? Is it like seventh generation?
yeah,
Like
Seven Generations, great. I've used them. We interviewed Ecos in our doc because I felt they were locally based.
Ecos?
Ecos, yeah, family owned. I didn't know. And we met with the scientists, and they were like, yeah, we have 6 ingredients. Because a lot of, by law, they don't have to list all the ingredients. That's another thing. So, but 7th generation thing is great. You can use borax, it's straight up borax. So
I mean, the colors are so beautiful that you're wearing,
yeah,
and these are all naturally dyed, right?
correct, yeah.
So it's so beautiful. And it has a different feeling, doesn't it?
Different luminosity. You think about plants and like they extract from the sun and they get the chlorophyll and they create their colors, and then you put them into a piece of cloth and it's going to have different layers. It's not one color. It's about, 10 colors.
I can see that. It looks like, my mother, she's a painter, and she taught me always to look at colors in nature. And I can see that in that beautiful shirt. There are so many gorgeous colors.
Yeah, it's influenced so many artists, Emerson, Poe, etc. Like, so how cool is it to wear it?
Yeah, living art, right? Living nature.
Yeah. So so detergents is one. And then the second thing is obviously intimates, which you talked about a little bit earlier.
Yeah. I've already been online. I was trying to find the hemp intimates. I was thinking, well, I think he said that Prophetik does.
We just launched our first brochure yesterday. I've done hemp boxers for years because
Right.
all my buddies are hopeless and if they don't search.
You're taking care of them.
Yeah, I'm like, guys, here, hemp boxers.
Everybody, right?
Yeah, so all the guys are.
Including Gerard Butler. I know he was in your documentary.
He works
He got the hemp boxer.
Darin Olien wears them.
Really?
We all do. Because and to be fair, I'll talk directly to the guys right now if any guys are listening. So it does lead to impotence. Polyester boxers.
Oh my God.
And here's why. As a kid, greatest example. As a kid,
I mean, that is a motivator. Come on.
I should only have to say that.
You only
You don't have to listen to anything else, but it's true. You can look it up. But guys running across, like if you run across a carpet when you're a kid and you shock your brother or sister, typically it was a polyester carpet, and you shock them. So that's the negative and positive, right? So that's what's happening in your polyester when it's doing this friction stuff across your scrotum.
Oh my God.
So that's one example.
Oh,
Also, the fabric's non-breathable. Also, there's carcinogens in it. So prostate cancer's on the
prostate
rise.
cancer. Yeah.
Yep, and they're trying to link it to food. I'm like, guys, the food is like 10%.
Mm.
You really dissected it. That's again, we talked about this earlier, but when you intake food, you have your esophagus, you have stomach acid, you have liver, kidneys, etc. You have protection. We were designed to protect ourselves. Skin, we're designed to be nude. So what goes in, we get a 37% absorption rate. So that chemistry, whatever you're wearing on your scrotum is the thinnest part of your skin. So you might receive more. Plus, if it heats up, work out, running, etc.
And then if you've got that dreadful, what percentage of your day you spend naked?
I mean, I would say when I'm at the beach, a lot. Yeah, I don't. That's why my
Can we get arrested? When you say like on a private beach or just down on a Malibu beach?
Yeah, sure. No, I know not a public beach, but yeah, I respect other people, but no, but I make my own, for example, board shorts out of hemp, and so and then I wear my own hemp boxers, right, and then obviously I sleep naked at night. And I think that's important because that's when your body off gases these toxins, and so you need to allow it to detox.
That's actually something I do naturally.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think it's important, and can't stress enough. So the third thing I would add to it is sheets,
Right.
because you're sleeping in 6 to 8 hours a night, right? And so if you're wrapped up in the chemistry and the toxicity, it's going to put stuff back in, and it won't allow that stuff to pass.
Right.
It's feeding the natural element where you need to. If we stepped out in the wilderness in the woods like we both have,
Yes.
you're going to just naturally allow your body to detox.
So where would we get clean sheets and what should we look for? Are you sleeping in hemp?
I make my own sheets out of hemp.
You make. Are they on sale?
Not yet. Eventually, hopefully we'll get there.
Yeah.
I gotta just say this. I'm not a commerce guy. I have done this out of the goodness of my heart to try to change.
No, I really get that. I really get that you're an honorable Southern gentleman who has this very rich history. I was reading all about the Franklin battles, the battles of Franklin, and how
Oh, sure, yeah.
absolutely bloody and awful. Like, do you still feel like you're somehow picking up a baton and healing ancestral pain and wounding and going to battle? Let's talk about who the real Jeff
Yeah.
is. Like,
You wanna- Yeah, I mean, I have a warrior spirit for sure.
yeah, I get that. You've got a warrior spirit.
I come from, we talked about this earlier, but, I come from, my background is Cherokee,
Yes.
Indian, and Tennessee, and English. So 7 generations, they have a 7-generation kind of saying in the Cherokee Nation that what you do today, what you plant today will be seen and heard 7 generations later.
Beautiful.
So I went back in my history 7 generations ago was Chief Whooping Crane. And he was kind of the first Western chief of the Cherokee Nation, was kind of on the border of North Carolina and Tennessee. And so his daughter, Mary Polly Crane, married my English ancestry, and then that's how it trickled down. So, it's interesting. So 7 generations later, I'm trying to fight for people. I think
I really get that.
and I don't think it's fair that we're not shared this information. And I think it is a public health issue that needs to be addressed. I think we're owed that because it's a human need. It's like food, shelter, and clothing. And that's what I'm fighting for, because I see too many good people getting sick, getting cancer that shouldn't, and they have a super healthy lifestyle. And
But they're still getting cancer. And this is what is coming to you.
And there's so many variables, and there's no way you can pinpoint it. I can't sit here and say this bra causes breast cancer. But I can say what I know, the carcinogens of chemistry makeup does cause breast cancer that's in that bra. I do know that your body receives that in fatty tissues and all that, the tonic system is supposed to clear it out, but the bra is constricted, so it is allowed to clear it out. I do know I can go through the science of that. And then I can say, we do have a bioaccumulation level. Everyone's different. We have different DNA structures, et cetera. So you and I can both smoke. I can smoke 2 days and get lung cancer. You can smoke your entire life and never get it. So there's so many variables to it, and it's like, why take the risk? That we should know, because everyone has a right to decide if I want to put this toxicity on my body and take the risk or not.
I mean, are there any brands out there you would say that's a clean brand? Where are we gonna
That's a whole nother subject issue, because once I got into this and I interviewed some of the companies that say they were doing this and that and the other, and it's like what you would expect in the commercial field. They do 1 or 2 things right. I would say right or clean. and then the rest is not. Because whether it's too expensive or they don't know or whatever. And I do think there's good intention out there. But certain things we do show in the film, like they're doing that great. Now, if they can just do this with this.
Wow.
Perfect
Quite
solution.
complex, isn't it?
It's complex.
I mean, like, say I decide to totally transform my wardrobe and rehab myself.
I like that word.
Rehab, fashion. I would be like going cold turkey as my clothes were carried down the. What is our best shot here, practically?
Sure.
Where could I go? What could I do? Would I have to have them made? What can I do to clean up my wardrobe? Because there's a lot of women that are going to watch this. What can we do?
I'll speak to the women here, and let's assume we're local, we're Malibu based. All right. So first thing I would do, obviously, is go through your wardrobe.
Yeah.
All right. So tonight, go through your wardrobe and just flip the tag over, see what it's made of.
Right.
Guarantee it, probably 8 to 10% will be natural fibers.
Okay.
So discard the other stuff. If you really like a certain fit of a garment or whatever, get a tailor to make it for you. There's plenty of me out there in the world that need jobs.
So basically, anything that is only 8 to 10% natural fiber.
I would say in your wardrobe, 8 to 10% that's in your wardrobe would actually fit the bill of a natural fiber.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's why I had the panic attack, I think, because I would.
Not alone.
Women, we're so connected to the way we look.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And like
These smart, amazing marketers from Harvard know this.
Yes.
So that's what you're up against.
And like you, I feel like fashion is such a romantic statement. It's I've had so many amazing experiences in amazing dresses.
It's that connection to the experience.
Yeah, the connection to the experience. Right. And for me, as a woman who's just learning about this would be quite a big deal, but I do think it's really worth it.
Yeah.
In order to, it's not going to be so fun. Go and deal with cancer from.
Well, that's where I would separate it. I would say, okay, ladies, like experience and that emotional connection is powerful. It's strong, but nothing's more powerful than your health, than your longevity, and I would say, because now I'm being exposed to this and I'm sorry for that, but it's a new leaf. It's a new time, and you could really move forward and you'll feel better. Your energy will be better. Like, this isn't just conspiracy. This has been documented, peer reviewed. And Darin Olien and I did a test in the film. He's kind of co-hosted with me, and he's local Malibu guy. Super healthy. He didn't know about this, right?
Right.
He's all in super.
Okay, so I don't have to feel stupid now. Because I was like, how did I not know about this?
Yeah, and he's all in this world, and I was surprised, but nobody looks at the clothing. And again, I think people assume what you buy in a rack, someone checked. There's no way that can poison me. Like, why would it be on the rack? But yeah,
I mean, that was my second thought. Yeah. My first thought was sheer horror. I can't. Yeah. Nobody's going to take my clothes. And then it was like, okay, if I did this, if I cleaned up my wardrobe, I might feel more amazing in the clothes. Yeah. So maybe I would feel, more connected to the earth, because subconsciously we know when we're doing damage to the earth.
Yeah.
I
think so. There's that. And I'll say some more practical things for maybe help convert the ladies, like the men's impotence. So with ladies, obviously there's hormone disruption chemicals. Especially in the spandex. So
I have 2 spandex things to now send back.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's toxins. There's stuff in that is known endocrine disruptors. And again,
so spandex is a no.
Spandex is a no. So you'll see, since they kind of, and I hate blaming this on Chip, but he kind of started Lululemon movement with girls wearing yoga pants, right? But I'd say his true intention, Chip used to own it, was he wanted to do natural and get people to act back to yoga and natural way of life. But again, there was a disconnect between what you wear in your yoga class, right? People used to wear the bloomer pants with him. I still wear those, but then it became this tight stretch. I mean, look at my form, my body. It makes me look beautiful as a woman. And I think it does. The only disconnect is what it's made of. And why do you think they smell after one wear? Because of the chemistry.
It's funny, my mom was always really, she was a real natural woman, artist, painter, and she was always really anti those yoga pants.
Yeah. And it's good reason.
Intuitively.
Yeah, because of the endocrine disruption that creates. So you're going to find, once that kind of became a trend, you look at the statistics, what's going on with cervical cancer, and just women having issues with fertility problems, etc.
Yes, I had in my
Talking
30s,
that-
I had some early stage cervical cancer. It was absolutely terrifying.
Yeah. So there's a young lady that's a part of our documentary launch in London, and she just basically, her mom came in and said, how can we help? So they're helping me do a part of this. So the whole reason is because we were at Sundance together, and a Nat Geo thing before that. And I told them, the story, and she was having some health stuff, and she changed her underwear, and she was able to get pregnant. And anyway, so she just came to me like 6 months after and was like, I got to tell you this, and how can we help you? Because I'm a believer now. And so
Wow.
it's stories
People
like
have-
that.
People have to
They had to
experience it because otherwise to believe it.
why not kind of believe me? Why not just take the risk? Because it's positive. It's not a negative. I'm not, again, I'm not in this for commerce. I'm not trying to sell anything, but I do swing it back to what should people look for. So natural fabrication. So linen, organic cotton, hemp, I use seaweed sometimes. You won't find out in the market much. And then you want to balance that out with undyed or natural dyes. And when I say natural dyes, I mean plant dyes. When you go and do this, let's call it detox, you call it rehab.
No, really. Like
yeah.
the idea, because I love fashion so much. When I see something I want, I hit the button real fast. And I was thinking, this would feel like cold turkey coming off heroin or something for me.
And here's the thing, who controls the media waves and the PR? Like, it's going to be these big fashion companies. But there are enough of me out there in the world that we could service that need. I promise you, we're just hidden. We're not known. Here I am in Malibu, and half the people don't even know what I do. But I'm here. I have 100 dresses in, here, and I make.
Around Malibu? You have 100
I
dresses?
have 100 dresses in my little studio here.
Right.
I have like maybe 600 in Tennessee. But so if somebody needs something for a party, I could potentially provide. And or again, if you have a beautiful silhouette that you love, because every woman has a different I like this because it makes my arm look like this, or my bust, I like it like this. Like I've done this forever. I know that certain women, you have that silhouette, then have somebody like myself in your town make it for you.
I think that's a beautiful idea. And it's also, it feels so special when something's made for you as a woman. And I think that's what women are yearning for, when they go and buy something very expensive or they're yearning for that feeling of being cared for somehow. I think the psychology is, and so if I showed up, if I commissioned a dress and I showed up and you had made it for me, how special, how amazing would I feel?
Yeah, and you'd wear it and keep it forever. And I want to dispel a rumor, and people just don't think about it because they think it's way too expensive. And I must tell you, there's.
Well, that was the next thing. I was like,
Yeah,
my boyfriend's going to be like, oh my God, it got even worse.
And I call the luxury market, to my viewpoint, is fake. And I say that with lightness because I do respect Dior and some of these companies. In my last design intern, now working in Dior as a designer, I think design's great, but unfortunately, they're using cheap fabrications because of whoever's driving the business. So to me, that's not luxury, and that's not taking care of the woman. It would be doing these really high-end natural fibers. Natural fibers, and let me tell you this, if we can swing it and more people want natural fibers, it'll actually be cheaper.
Right.
It's synthetic, and it used to be. So I do believe, and I've seen it, and I know it, a cocktail gown that I can make for, let's say, $800 is cheaper than a Dior on this. And it's, it's just.
Actually, that's quite, yeah, it's very reasonable. I would.
On their fabrication and everything, and the dyes, etc. But it can be done, is what I'm getting at.
You're about to show at Fashion Week, are you?
We are, yeah. September 17th, we're showing at the Tower of London.
Wow.
It's never been done before. It's been my dream venue for a long time. My mom took me there when I was a young boy.
Just love historic places, right? And your fashion is very influenced by history, right?
Yeah, I believe in grounding, and there's something to say about it. And yeah, I did a show at Edinburgh Castle.
I love that. I saw that.
That was special.
Mary, Queen of Scots.
Yeah.
What was it called? The Crowns of the
Women of the Crown. So there was a time period in that in that history that there was all these strong women being heads of state, or because they were young kings or dead kings, etc. and in Norway. You had, you had, I can't remember all the names.
Yes, I read about that when I was reading it. I thought that was quite fascinating.
Yeah, it's very,
The reign of queen.
yeah, it was raining fruits. And it was great. But the coolest part is that they took me all around Scotland and we looked at all these natural fibers still being made in Scotland. That people have forgotten about. And everyone knows about the wool. But what's happening in Scotland's sad, but you go like to the main mile on in Edinburgh and all those tourist shops and all that wool that you think is from Scotland is actually made in China. Oh, and that's hurting the local economy,
Ugh.
the original factories in Scotland. And they still make lace there.
Yeah.
Like linen.
Did you also collaborate with Portugal?
I did Madeira lace in Portugal, same thing.
So that's part of your inspiration, your muse when you're creating, to find fabrics or
Yeah.
Regional kind of wools, is it?
And I believe in village mentality. I think we could all go back and kind of slow things down and use local fabrication, local dye artists and that kind of thing, and it could work.
I mean, I love that idea. It kind of became like village mentality after the fires when
Exactly.
we all got to know each other really well. So it would be
We've experienced that firsthand, and to say it cannot work is not true. That's
Right.
That's just somebody driving that narrative so they can sell more products we don't need, mass consumerism. But it can be done, and there'll always be a balance. There'll always be people who don't care, and but I'm talking to the people that do care, and and I'm not talking. And people always think that this is gonna be more expensive. Like it's gonna last longer. It's gonna save your health. So in the long run, it's actually cheaper. But I think there's policy that goes in, and we're fighting for policy, which we had a policy change in the UK already that's going to start regulating the prices in clothing.
Oh, really? That's happened, has it? Yeah.
Yeah, so if we can implement that in US and other places, well, then it takes that off the table. They're no longer can use these ingredients that are harmful to you. Guess what? The price point at synthetics is going to go up. So that synthetic polyester polo shirt can't have that dye in it. So it's going to be more expensive, right? So that's the thing.
Yeah,
We're
that's
basically
good.
cheating for the cheap price point by using these awful ingredients and by these cheap fabrications. Think about this. This is shocking to most people. Food's gone up, coffee's gone up, every restaurant I go to knows gone up. And cost of living, et cetera, fuel, et cetera. T-shirts are still $7. How in the world are t-shirts still $7 since the 70s? Think about that. Because of the fast fashion model. So why is their price point staying the same? That's something to really consider. So those people, whoever's making that garment, is going to suffer.
Right.
People wearing it are going to suffer because of what's in it. Those very, very cheap ingredients. So
did you get to see some of these factories where they're producing incredibly, like cheap fashion? And what are they like?
I mean, you wouldn't want to step into them. The smell is that bad. And it's just, we went, like I said earlier in life, we went to China, and then this film, we went to Indonesia. And, it's sad to see because it's like, it's a double-edged sword. Because these, those people living there want the jobs. The factory owners, do they really care about people's working conditions? I don't know. I didn't see the care. Do they care about the environmental impact? No, because they would just discharge the water straight into the ocean. We went to a beach where they're burning leftover clothing, burning it.
Wow.
Worst way you could ever get
On the
rid of.
beach.
Yeah, worst way you could ever get rid of clothing. Why do they do it? It's cheap. And then there's a guy fishing next to me for his dinner that night. So he's ingesting whatever's in that water from the fish.
Wow.
And that's the disconnect we have. In a perfect world, we'd stop the synthetics altogether, make it illegal, can't use that anymore. We have enough clothing already made on this planet to clothe everyone. So the argument that
We do. We have enough clothes. We don't
100%.
need to keep producing. I mean, there are also these huge landfills, aren't there, full of...
Yeah. And they discard new clothing that's ever been worn before. They've been caught throwing it in dumpsters, or they've been caught incinerating it. I mean, you talk to people who work in corporate, and they won't share their names, but their job was to take excess clothing to an incinerator, incinerate it so that it doesn't land on the market, so it doesn't cheapen their brand.
I mean, it feels to me like it's this consumer, there's something that needs healing on a very kind of spiritual level in a way.
Yeah.
That this, we need to have a more sacred relationship with the earth, with each other. I mean, this consuming, it's like this addiction to consuming. That's what we almost need to heal, right? On a psychological, emotional level.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a great scene in Jason Momoa, who we all love. Look right here.
Yes.
The War Chiefs or something, they usually show, right? So my buddy was telling me to watch it. So I watched a scene. There's a scene where he came back wearing Western clothing. And his like brother made fun of him. He's like, "Why are you covering up your your genitals? How can any lady see hey, if you're big or small?" It's kind of a funny joke.
It's funny.
And he's like, yeah,
Especially with Jason, right?
yeah. And his character was like, we cover, the Western world, they cover both legs, so you can't see anything, and it's very interesting. But that the idea of starting to cover up ourselves, right? But which is fine with natural fibers, but that was the disconnect, and we started.
I mean, I'm going to take this on very seriously. So this is called Confessions in the Cabana. What would you like to confess about all of this? Does it feel too much sometimes taking all this on, or
Yeah,
you're just getting started, or how?
yeah. Well, true compassion is I'm kind of on my last leg. I've been fighting this for a while, but this documentary was a last push. I felt like this, I've been doing catwalks all around the world.
Yes.
And again, some people know what I do, some people don't. Podcast, TED Talk, etc. Try to get out there. And I realized it doesn't push the envelope. It doesn't make real change because documentaries live beyond us. They last beyond us. And
And the visuals are so powerful, right?
visuals are powerful, the research is there, but also community. Getting like Darin, like my big brother, and other people are in this space behind this one film, and Suzy Cameron, who's also part of it,
Yes.
who's been a friend of mine forever, also Malibu based.
Yeah, I thought that was wonderful. Yeah.
And she's believed in what I've been doing for so long. And so she really
Does she wear your dresses?
does, yeah, for a lot of events to James and the Titanic. She wore something. And anyways, but so it's this beautiful journey with friends, believe in it, and community. And I think that's where real change happens. It's not one person's, so many people were attached to this is who I am, this is what I do, this is my whole, purpose. And I even struggle with that because I'm too close to it. It is my purpose. I know 100%, but you have to be open to allow it to breathe and so, I do hope this documentary brings the change that's needed. But I do know we did a quick 2-day kind of free viewing of a rough cut for Mother's Day. And I got to tell you, 89,000 people watched who I didn't even advertise it,
Wow.
or we just put it up and announced it on our platforms. And I think Darin did too. And that showed me that people were sharing it by word of mouth. So that means people care. It's needed, and that's all I want to do is reach the people that want to listen to this.
What is it in your wildest dreams? What would you like to see happen?
Yeah, I would love to see policy change because, as you said, it's addiction. So you got to get the drugs off the street, right? So you got to stop allowing these fabrics to be made and put on people's bodies, and then or heavily tax it or something to keep it.
Like they're doing with sugar in Singapore, I think.
Okay.
To get everybody healthy, they heavily tax sugar.
Yeah. Because, and unfortunately, we live in a system that is, free enterprise. So sickness does bring a lot of money. So we're up against that. And I understand. So I hope for that. I think, we've already had some policy change in the UK, but it's a different mindset there. I don't know. I'm not dependent on that. What I would love to see most of all is every day people at home, middle America, wherever, to know this information as much and as well as I do, to make their own educated decision. It's weird because I haven't worn synthetic fabric for 30 years. I just see it. I've never been dry, ever.
Right.
And I look at my buddies who are my age,
Yeah.
working in business, wearing those starched shirts every day. And I look at their skin, it's pale, it's flaky. That's the starch, sucking oxygen out of the skin. It's just science, just science. Like if their hair falling out, there's causation there for the chemicals that are in the clothing that they're breathing and wearing every day for 8 hours, 8 hours a day. That's a hazard. And I battled this with my own daughter, the one that's still alive. She went to a private Christian school in Tennessee, made to wear uniforms, polyester uniforms. And I met the owner, strangely enough. I did a show for, I did a show in Morocco and for the royal family for the anniversary of Princess Grace. So I was there, did the show, blah, blah, blah. After the show, this guy invites me down in his boat. I said, cool, we'll come. Obviously, just wanted me and my models to come. But that's another story, but it's just part of it. But I say that because of the intention and the character. So he had the biggest yacht in the harbor.
Wow.
And I was like, well, what do you do? And he goes, well, I own a kid educational school uniform. I'm like, which one? He told me. And I said, interesting. I go, you provide the uniforms for my child's school. I've been trying to change them because of the chemistry makeup of them and what they have in them and the poisons. He kind of laughed because look around you, Jeff. And that just told me everything in a nutshell. People make choices. We all have choice in life. Chose money, commerce over what's right. And he had some grandkids that went to the same school as my daughter. And that's what shocked me the most. But again, maybe didn't know the impact of those chemicals on his grandkids. But then I did a shirt the next season that said, don't poison your grandkids.
That is amazing.
But that, honestly, if I was truly confessional, that's what I'm up against. That's what I've been up against. I've always felt, good thing I'm already a ranger because I've always felt like the outsider.
No, you
talk to these
come across as like just, I don't know, someone out of the eternity of time on their horse, just trying to do battle for good. And, it's marvelous to hear about your Cherokee roots and your grandfather and the fact that you're somehow, carrying all those lessons forward. And that's just like so beautiful.
Yeah, I just want to give people that power of choice back. I think they deserve it. Everyone deserves it. No matter what you believe, what you think, what business you're in, how you're making your money. Because, that guy I talked to on the boat with the educational school uniform, he has a wife, he has daughters, he had, it affects everyone. No one's immune to what's the chemistry is made in these clothing. So that's why it should be on the lips of everyone. No matter if you own those businesses or not. That's why I'm not attacking the businesses. But what I had to do, just to sum up the story of my daughter, I had to basically design her natural, clothing to wear underneath the uniform because the school wouldn't get rid of that contract because they get kickbacks from that contract to the school, which makes sense. But there's ties to that.
You lost one daughter, did you?
I didn't, yeah.
Yeah. And was that in any way related to
pesticides?
That's what I.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry about that. So this is why it's like such an incredibly huge passion for you to try and help clean up the earth.
You could, play victim, or you could actually use that energy towards something good. And that's, I'm just a warrior spirit. So I've been through a lot, but all that's not to say, it's just, this is coming from a true place.
Yes, it feels like it's coming from a really true place.
Yeah.
Can I just ask you before you take off?
Sure.
You've dressed all these fabulous rock stars and you dressed Stevie Nicks, did you? Or not? Some of Fleetwood Mac? Or?
Some of Fleetwood, yeah, it's hard.
Come on, tell me two of your favorite,
favorite
people you've designed for.
I mean, there's so many, and I'm shy, and because I hate name dropping, so to speak. But yeah, I was a young boy in the industry. Basically, all my buddies were in bands in Nashville, and I was a creative, long-haired guy that didn't get along with his country boy friends. Yeah, even though I rode horses and I do rodeos. I mean,
you did.
Oh yeah,
they're dangerous.
Yeah. And I just connected. So I've dressed, Taylor Swift, Lynyrd Skynyrd. My grandmother was best friends with Dolly, and every Sunday.
Love Dolly.
And
does Gerard wear your?
He does. I make him some thermal shirts. Obviously, he wears my underwear, like, and it's just every artist.
He was involved in the documentary, was he?
Yeah. He's a true friend.
That's wonderful.
And he believes in what I'm doing
That's wonderful.
and supports me. And he knows his um, involvement will help bring more eyes.
Yeah.
He's a
One of
sweet.
your band of brothers.
He is. I would stand by him through everything. And
Why Malibu? Why Malibu? What do you love about Malibu? You've lived here some time now.
yeah, the long story short, I had a full ride to West Point Academy. I scored in the top percentile in the ASVAB test my year at school. And so with that, they gave me a full scholarship for the nuclear arms program, which is obviously in my family history. And so I said, no way. They want to cut my hair. And jumped in my Jeep and drove to Malibu and got a full ride, not a full ride, I got like a half a ride to Pepperdine, and then also beach guarded and did pool guarding and taught swim lessons to kind of make my way through because my family disowned me after that decision.
Oh, wow.
And
So you've been through that. I came to sing rock, so my family definitely disowned me.
there is a cool spiritual connection here. I'd say a vortex, or people come here to live out their dreams. I did an interview the other day about LA dreaming, and what I love about here is that there's freedom in finding your creative venture and to go after what you believe in.
The space.
Yeah, there's a space. It's not the kind of wherever small town you came from. People see you for who you were growing up. It's hard for them to see you any way else, and that's kind of that can cripple some people. So I wanted the space, and obviously I felt called to do it, and that's how I met. I used to run around with Charlie Sheen, and through him I met his publicist. I met Gary Keefe, who managed Barry Manilow, and that was my first job, real job. So I worked for Barry Manilow and their entertainment company called Stiletto, and that's where I met, did creative direction for Stevie and Fleetwood Mac and all those guys, and learned a lot as I was traveling the world, learning from some guys who were super successful in what they do, and that taught me a lot. And that began this journey. And then I jumped ship 6 years later and started Prophetik because I wanted to get in and try to showcase what we can do.
Who are your muses when you're designing?
I mean,
Is it always historical? Or?
I just see vision, and it just downloads. This collection is called Billy Shakespeare. So it's Billy the Kid, which is kind of my Tennessee
Oh my
roots.
God, I love that.
Mixed in with Shakespeare, which I'm poetic
And British as well.
and British, which is my history as well. So it was a neat combination of the two, and visually I think it's stunning using like westernized fabrication and these beautiful plant dyes that they would use in both arenas, and then merge the two together with like the silhouettes of the Shakespearean time.
Oh, how
Great.
beautiful.
That's what's happening September 17th.
Are you excited about that?
Super excited. It's
Is it a lot of work putting on a fashion show? It must be insane.
well, everyone thinks I have like this huge team that does everything for me. Like, yeah, I wish. I make everything, I dye everything, I produce all my shows. But that's part of being a visionary. You really want to stay in tune and touch with it. I do have help and all that, but it's been because like the tower, it's the oldest museum in Europe. I didn't know that. It's King Henry VIII's like armor in it.
I grew up in Hampton Court Palace.
Okay.
So I have a terror of, I didn't grow up in the palace, but in that neighborhood. I have a terror of the tower because that's where Anne Boleyn was taken
Yeah.
to be beheaded. So,
That's right.
so what is it that's attracted you to the tower?
I don't know. There's this unique energy there. There's some family history there. I look back again. I think my first ancestry was the first sheriff of London, which I thought was interesting. We've always kind of been that weird world. Like my uncle ran the ATF. My other uncle was like second in the DA forensics department. Like we were all like, part of something. And anyways, I don't know. And then I just had this vision. I would have a show there when I was a boy with my mom there.
Wow.
So it's weird now that I'm doing this film for her, honestly.
Do you feel her spirit around?
Oh, I do.
All the time right now? She would be incredibly proud of you.
She's my biggest support,
Wow.
And
No, was it her side that was British or your?
yeah, it was her side. Yeah. And then,
What do you think she would say to you?
well, she'd say, don't give up, keep going, and she would always empower me by knowing, 'cause she thought like me. We'd stay up late. We both stay up late at night, sleep 4 hours, like more mathematician, analytical, and she'd make all these scribbles and notes. I would do the same. So she understood the way my brain works. was never like, oh, he's weird and he's different. It was like, I get him. She understood the way I think.
And we're vulnerable in that creative process. So to have someone who's really,
Yeah, you have to be vulnerable. You have to be in tune, so it protects that space to allow you to be vulnerable, download.
So it was she that had the vision that you would have a...
No, I had the vision with her
Wow.
when I first visited. And this is a long, long time ago.
How amazing is that?
And I saw the ravens, I'll never forget. And literally when we were there.
Ravens, I dreamt her. I woke up seeing ravens.
Yeah.
Is that your animal totem?
Well, I don't know about that, but they are powerful enough. I saw them in that vision, and then we were visiting to do the walkthrough the other day. They literally came down. We were walking up the stairs of the White Tower, and they literally came and sat two and just looked at me. And then I had two come in my little beach shack here, and they sat on the tree. I've never seen them before, and they did the same. Like, so I'm having this, weird epiphany with that. But they used to be white. I don't know if you know that. They used to be like a good sign. They used to be white. And
Well, for the Cherokee people, I think they are, because my friend's Cherokee, and she taught me about the ways. And for her, that's her. It's the symbol of magic, transformation, magic, the quickening.
Yeah.
So,
and now they're black feathers, but you can look, and you look closer, you can see some white gradients underneath. Actually, they used to die with the feathers. The feathers come out naturally, and they used to die with them, and they call it a black raven color. It's actually a blue-black. And I'm using that for the show.
wow.
It's kind of cool.
I see that you sometimes show up at, with horses.
Always, every show.
How on earth do you get horses into these
Friends everywhere.
venues where you're going to, they're so beautiful, and seeing these gorgeous women in your dresses on these horses.
Yeah.
Will you get a horse into the Tower of London?
Yes, I have Thor coming, and he's a beautiful black stallion, and he's amazing, and he'll be at the front gate as the guest comes.
Wow.
It's very special.
Oh, well, thank you so much. You are an amazing human being. This has been such a privilege, such an honor, and just such a deep education, actually. May all your Cherokee ancestors surround you with great light. May all your ancestors support you in this amazing walk and this journey that you're on to really share with the world what you've learned. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, thanks for the voice, too.